Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead with a tea rag. A lot of people have been asking me about this mug. Here it is. You want to get a closer look. It's owls in the trees. And I bought it at Walmart along with the other big one that said, "Why am I out of bed?" And I bought them for the coach. Problem is these don't fit in the cup holders when we're driving. So they're useless for the coach. And they're actually really big for the cupboard, the little cupboard in there. So they came in the house. And my candy stripe tall cup that Briar bought me in Arizona at Big Lots broke. My one I got from David's Tea, the pink one with the mitten on it, broke. Those are the ones that fit in the cup holders really well. And I'm pretty sure my polar bear one broken. The only problem with those really tall cups is, things are tickling my nose. Ugh, it's the season for me. But they all seem to, they tip over really easy and get broken easy. So today is Friday, September 14th, 2018, but you're going to see this on the 15th, so that's what it's going to be labeled as. Had to go take my truck in today and leave it with them for the weekend. My Dodge truck is a lemon. And don't you dare laugh, John. J00, don't you laugh. Hell, he didn't even want me to bring that in the driveway because it was a Dodge. I love Dodge, but I grew up with Fords, okay? And the only time my father bought a Chevy, it was a lemon. Well, my last Dodge was a 2010, and I bought it secondhand. And that thing purred like a kitten. Now, if we had to spend a couple of $1,000 on new ball joints and what else did it need? New brakes and a little bit of rust. So if we'd have spent $3,000 or $4,000, that Dodge, that old 2010 would be still purring like a kitten. But the one I bought, December 2016, I bought a 2017 Dodge Ram 1500 4x4 with a 5.7 liter Hemi. Sorry, this is the tomboy coming out in me. Anyway, yeah, and don't worry about my carbon footprint. We actually don't drive it much. I mean, yes, we took it to Michigan and stuff, but we don't, it doesn't get used unless I have to go to town, which is not very often. Or if we have to go to the lumber store or get firewood. I mean, it's really just a farm truck that looks pretty. Well, the damn thing's a lemon, okay? It's had 2 recalls on it. One they've just got the parts in for. The engine light kept coming on. And despite 2 diagnostics that they ran on the engine, they couldn't find out anything was wrong with it. The radio had to be replaced because it kept confusing my Bluetooth. And now the new radio needs to get marriage counseling for the Bluetooth. Because every once in a while, I will answer my phone via Bluetooth and the radio will come on really loud at the same time. And I have to ask whoever it is calling me to please call me back because my radio's PMSing. I'm serious. What else is wrong? Oh, the air conditioner died. This is a brand new truck. Okay, it's a year old, all right? But, I mean, a year and a half old. But it's like a brand new truck. So, anything else going on? Oh, yeah, the pressure, it has these lights that light up whenever the tire pressure changes, and those sensors were all going freaky-deaky the other day. I mean, I don't know what I did to piss it off, But if they can't fix it, I'm going to call in the exorcist, because the truck is just mental. It's just mental. Sensors that don't work, you know, communication systems and media that fight with each other. So it went back, and it's getting fixed. And Howie, I had to drive it in, and Howie was a little bit behind me. So the poor man who took down all the writing had to deal with Mrs. Wolfie. Okay. And he said, but is the engine light on now? And I said, well, no, it comes on whenever it feels like it. And he goes, we can run a diagnostic on it, but unless the problem is apparent when you bring it in, there's nothing we can do. And I went, okay, well, what about the tire sensors? He said, well, you said your husband adjusted them and they still freaked out. He said, are they freaking out now? And I went, well, no. And he goes, again, if it comes in and the problem isn't apparent, we can't do anything about it. We don't know which sensor to replace. I said, all of them. He said, do you want to pay for that? I said, no, it's under warranty. He said, but if it... So the poor guy, you know, listened to me for 15 minutes before he finally said, and I said, oh, and the air conditioner died. So this poor man, at least they're going to do what they can with the recalls if they have all the parts in for the 2 recalls. One was a parking brake issue or emergency brake issue, and one was, I think, the tailgate latch keeps coming undone, something like that. But they're going to fix at least those that they can. Okay. But I was like, give me a new truck. I bought this in good faith, and it's got PMS. Give me a new truck. Right? No, we can't. He said, well, go talk to the salespeople. I said, oh, I'll talk to salespeople. I want a replacement. So I made the guy work for his smiles today. That's for sure. Oh, and speaking of smiles, I don't have it with me. I went to Tim Hortons today. Now, you remember the Bev, the Mrs. Wolfie, that had so much bull crap with Tim Hortons in the drive-thru. And we've since made peace. And I got punked today. Really bad, okay? And it wasn't deliberate. It just happened that way. I pull up to there's about 6 cars in front of me, and I pull up to the little order box thing. And she said, could you please hold on? She said, there's a problem with the cash register, and we're having trouble filling the orders that are coming in. So could you wait a few minutes for us to take your order? And I said, absolutely, no problem, right? And so I wasn't thinking. I just put it in park, and I got my Spotify, and I pulled up my Eric Clapton, and I started singing away. Toe down, almost level with the ground. Well, I feel like this when my baby can't be found. I'm just a rocking and a bopping away. And then when I see I got cars behind me beeping because they're seeing all the other cars going forward, but I'm sitting there. Right? So someone beeped, and I stuck my head out the window. I said, hey, they got a problem with the cash register. They asked me to wait. Right? So anyway, when the last car goes to the window and picks up its order, they come back on, and I said, okay, we all good? And she said, yeah, but we just got to say thank you. And I said, for what? And she said, that was a riot. You had us dancing behind the counter. And I went, what? I forgot that those mics are that mic is always on. And I went through an entire Eric Clapton song, and everybody wearing a headset in the store heard it. There was like 5 of them. So when I got my tea and I got my breakfast sandwich, there was little music notes and happy faces all over the lid of my cup. Isn't life wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? But I mean, when I got up there, they were like, what song was that? And I said, it's called I'm Tore Down by Eric Clapton. Well, it's not by Eric Clapton. It's an old song that he's redone. So anyway, that was funny. I mean, that just set the tone for the rest of my day. I have been in a great mood for the rest of my day. Well, for starters, I love to sing, and it always makes me feel good when I can drive an hour and a half and listen to my own music without anybody else in the vehicle hearing me, because there's nobody there except the mic at the Tim Hortons drive. So anyway, and I got to tell you, folks, it pays to lend money to your kids. Now, don't start quoting Dr. Phil on me, and hear me out. But 6 months ago, Briar borrowed $100 off us. And I said, sure, no problem. I mean, it was a slow time in work, and he was only getting like 20 hours a week kind of thing. So no problem, right? So today, because we're back from holidays and Daddy's catching up work and all this stuff, and I made a minor mistake at the bank with my banking. We were short, and payday's not until Friday next week. And I had nothing, and I needed milk and apples because I'm an apple junkie. And so I phoned Briar because I know I'm going into Ottawa to take the truck in. And so I phoned him and said, or I texted him and said, can I get that $100? Daddy and I are really skint until payday. And he emailed me back, or texted me back, and said, sure. And he said, call me before you just come to work and pick up my bank card. See, good kid, eh? I love my sons. They're good boys. So, because they don't forget how mom and dad has helped to look after them, whether it's with food or money or just a place to be, right? Anyway, he phones me. Well, I phone him and I say, I'm on my way. And he goes, are you going shopping? And I know it's coming. And I said, probably. I'm going to go to Food Basics, right? And he said, well, take your $100. He said, but can you swipe my card for $50 worth of groceries? And I said, I guess, sure, right? So we go into the store. Okay. Now, you got to know my sons. Briar likes really good food, but he's a junk food junkie, especially on the weekends when he's like, playing video games with his friends and stuff, right? So he says, okay, give me some, stuff, weekend food. And I went, okay. Specifics? He said, nacho chips, sour cream, salsa, cheese for grating, because he grates his own, a pizza, that hot dogs and buns, that kind of stuff. Oh, and I had to get him a bottle of Dr. Pepper and a bottle of Mountain Dew. So I said to Howie, it's going to be easier. Here's the cash. You drive our cart and pay for our food. I know what Briar wants. I'll go through the store and get what he wants. So, but I never thought. I get up to the counter and I look at all the garbage. And I'm thinking, please God, don't let anybody recognize me from our half-acre homestead, because I'm going to have to explain why I've got pizza rolls and chicken strips and pizza and sour cream and chips and pop and hot dogs and white buns and all this stuff, because that's all it was. That was it. That was the whole list. And I'm thinking, please God, because I was embarrassed to be standing there with all this crap on the conveyor belt. I didn't want anybody. It's almost like someone sneaking in to buy booze from a speakeasy, It's like, I don't want anybody seeing me buy this stuff, because they're going to think it's for me. So anyway, that was fun. And then I forgot the salsa and had to go into the store again when we got back into Wakefield. So what else is going on? I actually wrote some stuff down and I can't find anything. Oh, these Crabapples. We went up to Kaz to pick up feed tonight. And in the driveway, there's this kind of wild crabapple tree growing up against. It's just a little one. It's only like I could pull down like the branch and take the top couple of apples off. And so when Howie went in, I went in and I asked I asked Jazz, I said, who owns that apple tree? She said, I don't know. I said, but it's in your kind of your driveway, right? And I said, do you think anybody would mind if I take some of the apples? And she said, oh, I don't think so. She said, not if you, as long as you don't strip it in case somebody else wants some, right? And I said, okay. Well, I'm telling you, I have never seen a more perfect crabapple in my life. Look at this. I'm just going to grab any random one out of the bag. Okay, he's the most imperfect one in the entire bunch. Look at these beautiful little crab apples. Here's how big they are. Now, I had a friend in Colborne, Ontario, who said, I was talking about crab apples, and she said, do you know where you can get any? And I said, oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So I went and picked them, and I brought them to her, and she said, oh, no, honey, those are ornamental crab apples. She said, I'm sure you can use them. She said, but they're really not. I want to make spiced crab apples. If you're still alive, Heather, I'm going to make them for you. If you're not, God rest your soul. Because the last time I spoke to her about 15 years ago, she was really not well and not in a good place. But anyway, so I looked at these little things and I thought, those are crab apples. Okay. And it's been, I don't know, I was 24 when my Uncle Joe showed up at my dad's. Arthur was a newborn, and he brought a little 6-quart basket of crab apples like this from his tree. And I said, I didn't know anything, folks. Okay, I could barely cook. Okay, I could cook. All right, but I didn't know. I wasn't canning then. And Uncle Joe said, oh, you make crab apple jelly. So I got out the cookbook and I made crab apple jelly. And so I saw these and I wanted to remember my Uncle Joe and I wanted to remember my friend Heather. And I think I'm going to make just a couple little pints of spiced crab apples and maybe give them away as Christmas gifts. And a couple little jars of crab apple jelly, because you know what? These are just too perfect ways to use them just to make pectin, right? And I didn't take them all, didn't even take half. I got like probably 5 pounds there. So I'm really, really happy with that. Oh, my soap dispenser. I'm going all over the place, folks. I'm a monkey in a tree. My soap dispenser in the bathroom. Remember the hand pump? I was putting soap slivers in it and filling it up with water. And someone asked me why I didn't just mash the soap together. Girls, hush. Hush! I just don't like that. I don't like that. And my soap is harder than store-bought soap, so it doesn't mash well, right? And I like having a soap dispenser, but I don't like buying store-bought soap. I mean, as far as I go is laundry soap, because I have a high-efficiency washer now, but I have laundry soap and dishwasher soap. That's it. And dish soap. So, buggers. They hear me talking and they're trying to get their word in. So somebody told me to put marbles in the bottom of my pump soap dispenser, and I did. And it's only about this big around, and it's only about that wide. It's only like 1.5 inches wide. And I put 3 marbles in the bottom and it has never clogged. I've put more soap slivers in so that it actually comes out nice and thick and slimy, like hand soap is supposed to. And so I have my own soap in a soap dispenser for using for when I wash my hands, because I only have a small bathroom vanity. I don't like putting a bar of soap on there because it gets yucky and mucky and and I'm the one who cleans it. Right? So a soap dispenser is better. So thank you to the marble lady for telling me about putting marbles in the bottom of my soap dispenser so it won't clog. All right. Oh, Frankie. Frankie suffers separation anxiety like I have never seen. Okay? It's one thing if we go away for a weekend, but us going away for 10 days without her, not a good idea. We came home and she was really, really bitchy with Gracie. And then I noticed her neck was she was losing the fur on her neck. And I looked and she had little sore oozing patches. And it's like she got a bug bite and she kept scratching and scratching and scratching. And then she had a little bald patch on her shoulder and she's, of course, she's shedding. She's getting ready for a winter coat. But I'm looking at her going, what's the matter with you? So I thought the dog had mange because her neck was like bald and she had a bald patch here and there was fur coming off her back. And I'm thinking, oh no, she's got mange. So I looked it all up and what described it best was something called hot spots, especially with a dog like a pug that has wrinkles and has a double fur coat, like a double fur thickness, and in hot, damp, humid weather, they will get maybe a bug bite or a skin irritation, an underlying skin irritation, just maybe a couple of fleas or something like, and they'll start scratching. But it will get out of hand because it actually gets worse with the humidity and the heat and separation anxiety. Okay, she was under a lot of stress. I remember once we had date night in the motor coach and Howie came in the house to get something and Gracie slipped out the door with him and Frankie paced back and forth crying, oh no, where are they? They're never coming back. Oh, and that was just them going and because it was Daddy, who is her sole property, and Gracie, her sister, who she imprinted on more than she imprinted on us. So when we went away for 10 days, and somebody else was in the house and she got a bug bite or something. So what I did was I phoned the drugstore because I don't go to the vet unless I have to. Okay. And if it gets worse or it doesn't get fixed in a week, I will take her to the vet. But I phoned the drugstore and I got a really strong medicated shampoo for psoriasis. And then I made a mange rinse to be safe. And all a mange rinse is 3 tablespoons of borax mixed into 2 cups of hot water. Like you want to dissolve the borax so there's no grit. And then 2 cups of peroxide and 4 more cups of warm water. Is it 4 more cups? Yeah, another quart of warm water. So that it's like body temperature warm, like if you're shampooing. So when you shampoo your dog and you rinse all the soap out, then you pour the mange rinse in and you massage it into their coat and then you dry them. And apparently for everything but the really bad mange, that works really well. So I did that, and within, the next morning, she was already more relaxed. The dry patch on her shoulder was already getting fur. It was already drying up, and these ceased to be red. And I had got her some Benadryl for the itch, for whatever was causing her itch, because it's not fleas, right? So, we realized that any longer than a weekend away, and we were going to have to take her with us because she's just very emotionally fragile. Gracie, on the other hand, and I know pugs are really actually very emotionally attached to whoever they attach themselves to. It becomes their job. You are their job, and they love their job, and they're loyal to their job. Gracie, on the other hand, is not like any boxer I have ever seen. She's a little boxer. She's smaller than any boxer I've ever seen except her mother. Her mother was the same size. And she's got the heart of a pit bull. I'm not kidding. She's got that familial loyalty. And if anybody comes near the house when Daddy's not home, Gracie's like, you shall not pass. That's Gracie. Okay? until I come out and say, no, 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 come on. And if it's a man, forget it. She won't even come call him off for me. I have to pull her chain back. Never seen it anything like it, because boxers are big, goofy, slobbery, sweet lap. Well, they think they're lap dogs. Gracie's got the heart of a pit bull. She's fiercely loyal, fiercely protective, but she's not aggressive. I have actually seen her nip at the heels of men, like delivery men, who think it's okay just to keep walking when I say stop. You know, let me rein my dog in, because they take one step closer and she's nipped at heels. And I said, I told you to stop. What part of stop didn't you get? Right? But she's never bitten anybody. But she doesn't like men around when daddy's not home. I think how we trained her. So, and Gracie, as much as Gracie loves daddy, she's my dog. Howie wanted a boxer and I wanted a pug, and the dogs chose us. Frankie chose Howie and Gracie chose me. Fun, eh? So, while I was in Kaz, I got my $7 35-pound bag of carrots, and they're really nice this year. They're not huge. They're small. I mean, there'll be more coming out and they'll get bigger as the season progresses, but they're only about that long and they're only about that thick. So I think I'm going to be able to do them with the Chop Wizard this year. I'm going to be dehydrating those, and I'm going to be canning some carrots and potatoes together. And I'll do a video on that, because there is a couple of things you got to know if you're going to can potatoes and carrots together. But I'm doing it specifically for a project later on in the fall. Okay, I'm going to do some new projects this year, and I'm going to revamp some old ones. And people have been asking for meals and treats in a jar and stuff to redo my old Christmas in a jar video type things. So, but I got my 35-pound bag of carrots. I've still got 4 cases of tomato that as soon as I do this tea break, I'm going to go start peeling and getting them in the pots for tomorrow. What else do I got? Oh, yeah, the crab apples. I'm going to do a couple of things with the crab apples, and I've dehydrated some potatoes. So I got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I've still got editing to do for, you know, the dehydrating potatoes, because I know everybody's seen me do it, but everybody says they'd rather see a new one anyway. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to give you folks what you want, right? So yeah, it's been a great day. And right now it is 10 after 7, and I figure by 9 o'clock I can get at least 2 stock pots full of tomatoes and maybe a roasting pan full to put in the oven. So I better get on it. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, it's Friday, it's canning season, I got a lot of work to do. Say a prayer for me. Keep you all in my prayers every night. Take care. God bless.